Hey everyone, it's Jason Gilbert back to help those of you who are in pain right now. You might have followed my first video, which is a video specifically directed towards people who are in a lot of pain. Those people in general would be in a state where they're restricted or a little elderly and unable to do this next video. So if you've been there and you've graduated and that's all fine, great, welcome to this one. And maybe you've looked at that first video and thought, you know what, I can actually do those. I'm feeling pain, I'm feeling restricted, but not that much. So this is for those of you that may want to incorporate this on in those moments where you're sitting down for a long time at work and you're feeling stiff. You might have been traveling in a car or a bus and you're getting out stiff as well. So it's just your go-to in those situations, as well as being something that you can do as a maintenance, okay, on a daily, daily routine to be able to preserve and maintain the health of your spine, okay? So let's start. What I want you to do, as I mentioned in the other video, I want you to always start by moving or walking first. So if you can walk out in the street, great. If you're indoors, just walk on the spot. A lot of people fail to recognize how important walking is. And years ago, after my spinal surgery, I was one of those people. I had never rated walking. And after spinal surgery, I actually learned just how important walking was. It really helped me recover in an accelerated manner, okay? Actually, even before the surgery, I was walking in pain to maintain function. So walking's so good like that. And many people will notice that when they are walking, it might feel sore for the first couple of minutes, but then as the circulation increases, as the muscles relax as well and the spine moves, their pain decreases. Remember, pain's a reflex. It's advising you that there's an underlying problem. So as tissues that have been affected by that underlying problem, which we have to identify, it could be sitting, could be old injuries, it could be your work, other positions as well. As those tissues that have been, resentful of that and reactive to it, as they relax, you'll feel a decrease in your pain. So please don't think this is an alternative to going in and actually fixing the cause or modifying what needs to be modified in your life, okay? Great, I've warmed up. What I want you to do now, check in with yourself, okay? Separate your feet, shoulder width apart, and I want you to do squats. Now, if you can only go to here, that's fine. What I want here is that you're activating your core, taking your belly button back to your spine, okay? And breathing through your nose. Reminding you also that many people in pain will often breathe through their mouths, okay? That's that shallow upper lung breath that puts us into a panic state. And we don't have to go fast. Maybe I'm doing it too fast there because I'm distracted. Great, bring it down and up. The more load and the slower it is when we do it, the better. Okay? Now if you can go a little lower, great, but I need that core activated. See what I did then? I was distracted. I went forward, that accentuated the curve. That can increase pain, okay? Don't do this, okay? Yes, do this. Activate first, and you're going down like that, okay? Now, it might get to the point where you're there, you're almost touching the floor. I'd like to think that if you're in pain now, then in a couple of weeks, you'll be able to do this and do a much deeper squat. Right, the extension on this squat now will be to get to that point that's comfortable for you, okay? Looking at everything there, activating your legs, your knees and everything. I'll do it at an angle. Okay, activating your core. What I want is those arms up. Okay, really great for stabilization of the lumbar spine. Okay, if it's too much, straight off the bat, you probably haven't warmed up enough before it. Okay, but I like this. It stabilizes everything. It activates it from the get-go. Fine. Okay, hold it for 3, 5, 10 breaths. Okay, I prefer to say breaths instead of seconds. Come up, relax. You might want to walk on the spot again and repeat. Okay, and down. This next one's a really easy one. What I want you to do, bring that knee up and hold it. Okay, what we're doing when we're working with balance, so we're acting on our proprioceptive nervous system, which is the part of our nervous system that gives feedback to our brain on where our limbs are. What I love about hacking the proprioceptive nervous system, it also activates those small intrinsic muscles between our vertebrae. okay? So we're getting that activated, the neurological activation. We're also getting glute, hip, low back stabilization. Remember, please, to activate that core, okay? Activated. Belly button in, lift that up. Back to the breath, okay? Now we're going to come back to this later on in the video. Okay, but right now I want you to do this, and the extension later on will be one leg with our body forward. Now, what we're going to do, take a step back. I want you to do a lunge forward. Now this lunge doesn't have to be too far if it hurts. Okay, so that's okay. And lunge, go down to a position that feels okay to you. Great for stretching the hip, the psoas, the hip flexors. Also putting a bit more strength demands on that knee, activate that core. Up again. Forward, up again. Now, if too far forward is too much for you, which I imagine it would be if you're in pain, that's okay, there's no shame in that. Bring it forward and up. Just keep that core activated the whole time, okay? Now, 5 to 10 either side, listen to your body please. When you get to the point where you can do that lunge forward, take that knee down. In this position, with a flat foot, I want you to shift your weight to the point, shift it forward I should say, to the point where you're feeling a really nice stretch in this hip. We've got to remember that low back pain is not only low back cause. It often involves mid-back, hip, even knee. So we want to work those structures around it, and this is a beautiful way of doing that. I'm working my hip, but I'm also working my low back, okay? Activating the core, moving forward. Great, that comes back. What I want this time for you to do is, in between, you're going to sit down on your feet, bring yourself up again. 5 or 10 of those. Really keep this core activated the whole time. Okay? Now, if it hurts on your knees, because you might have arthritis, a knee replacement surgery, or some other degenerative condition, please don't do that. Listen to your body, okay, we'll modify it, or skip this one. Also, if your feet flat hurt, just flex them. Bring it down to your ankles, and up you go again. Now, just staying like this is fantastic. Okay, once again, back to the proprioceptive nervous system and strengthening those lower muscles of our back, the lower part of the paravertebrals, the multifidus muscles between each vertebra, the top of our glutes. Great. This is a legit exercise, okay? Right, what we've done, we prepped. For this next one, we're going to go the other side. We're going to rock forward like we did before. And hold. Great, I'm happy with that there. I'm feeling a really nice stretch. I'm going to hold that. Now I trained squats yesterday, I went quite heavy, so I am feeling a little bit of tension there today, which is great. That's giving me the feedback that, hey, this position's great. It really is doing its job. If I hadn't have trained and I hadn't have felt this tension in this position, I might think, oh, nothing's happening. But I guarantee you it is happening whether you feel it or not. Once again, if you're in pain in a situation where you're limited to a certain degree, of course you're going to feel this because it's all reactive and protective. It's all reflex muscle guarding as well from your brain, trying to protect your spine. Great. 5-10 seconds like that. You can go back and do your, lift ups from that kneeling position. But the next thing we're going to do is, actually I'm going to do the other leg so I can do it to camera. I want you to step forward, okay? The hand on the ground, and I want you to look up. Okay? Really focus on the activation of that core. Okay? 5 to 10 breaths. Bring it down, back, other way, okay? 5 to 10 breaths. Great. Down. Hey, we're in this position. Why don't we get into cat-cow? Bringing that pubic bone in, okay? And then coccyx up towards the ceiling. Okay? In out, okay? Breathe in, breathe out. As you pull it in, okay, we're really going to squeeze the abs and activate the core. It's a beautiful stretch for the low back. From this position, one leg out, one arm out, hands directly under the shoulder, knee under hip. Okay, avoid doing this. We want the neck in neutral. Is it 3 seconds? Is it 5 seconds? Is it 10 seconds? Sorry, breaths. That's up to you, okay? Once again, activate the core before you do this. Looking down, focusing on those breaths. And away we go. Great. Second last one coming up, okay? We want that leg forward again, okay? So we want this one forward with me focusing on looking at you guys on the camera. Arm down. This time, if you can, look what happens. That knee lifts our whole leg up. I'm contracting my thigh there. I'm extending it as much as I can, and I'm looking up. Really great stretch for the glute. Okay? And then 5 to 10 breaths like that. You can also put a variation in like this if it's a little easier for you. Put a bit of mobility, have some fun with it. As long as you stick with the breath, great. Other side. From this position, that knee swings through, that foot's there, and we're going to stretch the glute. Now, we don't want to do this stretch with the glute elevated. So please, you can be here, bring it back to have that glute on the ground, adjust everything here. Once again, if your knees don't allow you to do this, that's okay. Skip this one, do the next. But my glute's on the ground. This is where I pull that knee into my chest, activate the core obviously, and turn. So I'm getting a beautiful neck stretch here as well. I'm promoting rotation. Leave those shoulders depressed, okay, or down, and breathe away. Okay, other side. Okay, there. Turning. So I'd be here 5 to 10 breaths. I won't stay because I don't want to be looking away from you guys on camera. Perfect. All right, legs out to the front. Going to have a little bit of low back flexion here. Okay, I don't want these legs straight. Even if you can do that, if you do this, it's going to accentuate the stretch on your hammies, put a bit of pressure on your knees as well, and we will miss out on that valuable stretch that this offers for the low back. So, bit of flexion there, bring your whole core or trunk forward, and then lean into it. Now, if this is difficult, you can put a pillow or a cushion here, lean on that, and just let your head dangle. So you're going to get a nice stretch in your neck, low back as well. Great. Stay there for as long as you want. You might want to stay 30 breaths this time. Okay, but really rest into it. You can actually, with time, straighten those a little, but I would like you, if you want to accentuate the stretch on the lower back, always maintain a bit of flexion there in your legs. Because watch what happens. If I straighten that, I'm limited. I'm not going to get the stretch here. I will get it shared between both of those areas. A tiny little flex, and then I'm straight down into that. Okay, all of that is to build up for the last one. This is where only if you're ready, okay, but I want you to be on one leg, one arms up, and I want you down. Now, ideally, you'll be down, and you'll imagine someone's pulling your hands one way and your foot the other. Okay, and try and keep that pelvis flat with the ground. What do I love about this? I love the fact that when we're balancing on one side, as I mentioned at the start of the video, we're activating our proprioceptive nervous system. So important to stabilize those intrinsic muscles, right? So away we go. And then the other side. Now guys, there's no way you'll be able to do this in crisis. Okay, this is something you'll build up to. So once again, if you feel like you're ready for it, do it. If you don't, please don't do it. You will be there in a couple of weeks. The idea is to recognize that you're in a state of pain. Your body's trying to protect your nervous system by causing the state you're in, whether it be pain, whether it be rigidity, limitation in movement, whatever. You will get out of it. It's just that we've got to go step by step to get there. Okay, focus on the basics always. Your breath, activation of your core and your form. It's much better to do a little less and maintain good form instead of exaggerate that and overload joints and muscles that may be, I guess, I use the word resentful, but may complain after. This works, okay, as I've mentioned also, I've worked with spinal care for 30 years. So I have, I guess, the experience and I guess good fortune to have seen this applied to so many people, hundreds of people over the years that have had fantastic results, not only at the time of feeling a bit of a pain, but also keeping them stable throughout their lives. Because it's one of the hardest things, isn't it? Like, what can we do to be stable for the sports that we love, for our work and all the rest? If you like the video, please share it with people that you know who may need it. And also remember that on my YouTube channel, you've got access to this information all the time as it comes out. My mission is to pass on my 30 years of experience to you guys, which I also do in my online course, Back in Action. All the best.